Lah bulu tuh Kevin beri. Bulu. this is definitely a different experience for us all together, because it was not only 9 months, but 3 campus immersions, then going back to your field and being mentored by the faculties. Initially, we were also hesitant because for the first time we did it. But we are so happy being part of it, and by executing this particular program, now we are requesting, asking, and whenever we are getting a chance, saying that this is the program we want to do for you as well. Even happy to say that the Karnataka Milk Federation, they want their 400, that's what I was saying, 400 mid-level and senior level managers, they are going to go through the same experience that you people have gone through. And even other agencies, the Ministry of Cooperation, they are thinking. So I think this is what is going to be our USP going forward. And we will be hopefully, not only, of course, I am going to, hopefully we will continue the relationship with Tata Trust as well, and it's not just a second, and could be possible extended to other layers as well if they found it relevant and suitable. But I'm sure we will, every year, every batch, we will be improving not only the content, pedagogy, and how it is going to be more efficient and effective, so should the organization. So I'm happy that today the batch is the same dress what we used to wear for our convocation. Because it's an academic institution, convocation can't be held for more than once a year, and we have to take the approval of the board and the academic council. We have not done all this, so it is going to be a mini celebration where we are going to distribute the prizes. I wish the entire batch good luck. I'm sure the value addition that you got would be relevant when you go back to your field. The way things are changing, of course, you know better than us. The environment is so dynamic. What was relevant yesterday, what was taught to us 10, 15, 20 years back might not be relevant when you go to the field. So every day the situation of the situation that we face is different from what we faced yesterday or a week back or a month back or a year back. So everything is new for us. So I think these social sector is again an area where we bring not only our learning, teaching, or experiences with a humanity touch of humanity, and making people smile, making people happy. We get an opportunity to save many households, serve many people, which sometimes in other professions you might not have that opportunity. So I wish you good luck, and again, this is not the end of our relationship, rather the beginning of our relationship. Whenever you want to come to the campus to stay for a couple of days, or want to collaborate with some faculty members, by now you might have interacted with many faculty members, being mentored by some faculty members. So if you want, you can talk to them. We are ever ready. I can assure you, I can guarantee you that from our side we are ever ready. So whenever, whatever kind of assistance or say help, be it related to any project or conceptual understanding, or you want to be part of any program that we are running here, want to take a session, 1 or 2 sessions, want to share your experiences, always you're welcome. Because you are our brand ambassadors. And everything depends on how you deliver and what you do. So we definitely will make us proud. And like our irmans, you go wherever, we have now 4,000 odd irmans. Wherever we go there, we find some irmans, and they are making us proud. I'm sure you're also irmans. Your association with the institute is different, but then you have the same DNA in the last 9 months, because always we take pride of our DNA. And I'm sure a couple of DNAs also have passed on to you, and make this institute bright and do well in your career. So thank you very much. Once again, I would like to thank Tata Trust for giving us the opportunity to work closely with not only the HR team of Tata Trust, but these students, participants. And here again, we never call the students, we always call them participants because from the day one they become our stakeholders. So that is why we always address them as our participants. And the batch was so energetic. I have come back to say, while going through, I used to see a couple of sessions. So energetic. That's what I was telling her, to give me some energy so that we can improve the other programs as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kant. I think, to be very honest with you, we are super grateful that the family at IRMA's made us feel like family here as well. So we're really, really grateful on that note. Life is a journey with problems to solve, lessons to learn, but most of all, experiences to enjoy. And I think over the last couple of months, you would definitely echo that we've truly experienced, enjoyed, stressed, worked many multiple hours, but at the end of the day, when we look back, I think we're better versions of ourselves, right? To help us recall this journey, the team would like to tell you a little story about their journey and what they take home. So allow us to share with you a video, post which we're going to invite a few of our colleagues to come and share their journey. We have with us a few members of the team, Nagoto, Shanavaz Alam, Vishwambar, Kasi, Shishir, and Subhashish to talk us through the last couple of months in a small, short little deadline. So Nagoto, over to you.
Our learning journey in this program began with identifying the capabilities. A core team at the Tata Trust gathered together for a series of focus group discussion and identified 11 capabilities that an area manager should ideally have to ensure the highest level of effectiveness. In our endeavor in Campus Connect 1 was to examine each of these capabilities and place ourselves on the competency and proficiency grid. Then we move towards understanding our current capabilities against where we need to go. We had a self-assessment and which help us to understand where we are and also help us to understand what our team members perceive of us on those capabilities. In these months of learning at IRMA and during our time in the field, it revolved around understanding, developing, enhancing and applying these capabilities in our day-to-day life. With confidence, I can say that we in this cohort has been able to level up our competencies from the day that we started in December 2021. In Campus Cohort 1, we focused on developing our own capabilities, and in Campus Connect 2, we focused on developing our teams and our internal customers, and in Campus Connect 3, we focus on our stakeholder management. I can once again confidently say that we have all leveled up our competencies and we have upgraded our softwares.
This wonderful program has gave us opportunity to understand the Tata Trust ecosystem in a more comprehensive way. We have interacted with and listened to several senior management and leadership pool from trusts during this entire journey of the training program. That helped us to understand the legacy of the Tatas and the purpose it is committed to serve. Last year, in December, when we entered this campus, we came here with the labels of our respective associate organizations. But here, we learned together, we lived together, we supported each other and shared our knowledge among us. That has helped us to transform from disjointed silos to a more connected Tata Trust family. जब उंगलियां बंद हो जाए तो मुट्ठी बनती है, उसी तरह से from individuals we have grown to a team.
इस बार अंतिम जो ये कैंपस कनेक्ट था, इसमें जब हम आए तो एक साथी ने कहा कि जब वो पहली बार इस कैंपस कनेक्ट के लिए आ रहा था तो उसके अंदर थोड़ा सा एक डर सा उसको लग रहा था, क्योंकि अलग अलग स्टेट से टीम आने वाली है और अलग अलग पोर्टफोलियो के लोग आने वाले हैं जिनसे उसका मिलना इससे पहले नहीं हुआ है। लेकिन हम इस पूरे करीब 1 साल की इस जर्नी में सभी एक दूसरे को बहुत अच्छी तरीके से जान पाए हैं, एक दूसरे के साथ मिलकर काम कर पाए हैं। तो टीम की तरह हम लोगों ने पहली बार टाटा ट्रस्ट में महसूस किया है जो अलग अलग पोर्टफोलियो के लोग हैं। एक पोर्टफोलियो के लोग तो मिलते रहते हैं, लेकिन अलग अलग पोर्टफोलियो के लोग एक साथ मिले, एक साथ मिलके सीखा, साथ काम किया और एक कनेक्शन हम लोगों के बीच में बना। और इस कनेक्शन को और इसको सबको बनाने में नेटली की बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण उसका रोल रहा है और वो लगातार पूरे कोर्स में जितने दिनों यहाँ रही, हम लोग ये देख सकते थे सुबह से लेकर देर तक वो हम लोगों के साथ और हमसे ज्यादा एंगेज रही, तो उनका इस पूरी टीम को बनाने में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण रोल रहा है। दूसरा यहाँ पर जो फैकल्टी है, हमने देखा कि फैकल्टी हमेशा टाइम पे है, अपनी पूरी तैयारी के साथ है, पीपीटी, रीडिंग सब कुछ तैयार है। ऐसा नहीं कि चलिए क्लास में जाके कुछ भी करा दिया है जो हो गया, पूरी तरीके से तैयार और अपने तरीकों में बहुत अच्छे तरीके से उन्होंने हम लोगों को एंगेज किया। तो यहाँ की फैकल्टी का भी बहुत हम लोगों के सीखने में योगदान रहा। इसके अलावा यहाँ के जो अरेंजमेंट जो थे, हर एक चीज का अरेंजमेंट बहुत परफेक्ट था। तो बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जो आपके जहन में, आपके दिलो दिमाग में उतर जाती है और जो आपके अंदर भी एक कल्चर क्रिएट करती है। जो इंस्टीट्यूशन जिससे आपने सीखा है वो कल्चर आपके अंदर आती है। तो मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि हमारे सभी साथियों ने बहुत सारी चीजें इसमें सीखी होंगी। मैं अंत में मेरी टीम मेंबर से अनुरोध करूंगा कि नेटली और यहाँ की फैकल्टी के लिए ताली बजा करके
what I actually learned from IRMA and also this transition leadership program is that we were not only taught about the values like key capability and leadership skills, but also core human values like empathy and compassion. So when we have the capabilities like emotions like this empathy and compassion, when we directly go to the field, we actually see the difference, right? So actually, even at a personal level also, when I was able to connect with my team, and also not only the team but also with the community that I connect with, like a community that I work with every day on a daily basis. This actually shows that this indicates that not only professionally but also personally that we are going to be a good human being. Not only evaluating what we are at the start of the program, but by the end of the program, what we give back to the community, how we deliver our results, and how we impact our beneficiaries is what is the main learning for me. And thanks Alan for mentioning about the shared learning, because one of the key learnings for this particular program in specific is that initially we didn't know like what the associate organizations were doing in other zones. But then when we were here last time and the first time we were here, we were asked to interact with each other, build a bond. build a relationship. That indicated that when we have a proper bond with each other, we can understand what you are doing in your respective fields, so that when we are not having a confidence of executing any particular topic or any particular program in our region, we can reach out to you. That's what actually I did when our region was not having the capability in terms of at that point in time we were facing difficulty to kind of engage with the community. That was not there. So we wanted to learn it. That's the reason I reached out to all my friends over the social media platforms and also through the group meetings. Then CMF, which is also associate organization with Trust, helped us a lot in terms of understanding how to engage with the community by showing the sustainability model. That is the reason I took all my team to Rajasthan and then made them understand the sustainability model and take back the learnings to our field. So I can proudly say that from January 2021-22 to now, so when I took my team there, they were novice learners. Now they are master trainers in our zone. So that is the learning.
My dear friends, you tell me, I'll start forgetting, and you teach me, I may remember, and you ask me to work with you, then I'll take it forward throughout my life. There was medicines available for fever, but no medicine is available for action learning project. You have to burn your midnight oil. It was most important part of the journey that we have now reached at the final stage, and this was the most important part. 3 action learning projects we have done. The first phase was that you identify a challenge. That challenge, which is that one of the strategic area in your organization is facing the challenge, and also in your project. So 2 projects you have to do, and second part was more difficult, that the challenge that your reporting manager is facing, that how to resolve that challenge and what you can suggest that challenge. I have never seen a place, I have never seen an institute where teachers became friends and teachers have told you and support you and they will never taught you. I would say everyone, we have spent so much of sleepless nights, but everyone came up finally in flying color. I don't have a scale in front of me to measure that what success everyone has achieved, but if it could have been, everyone has reached in the 1 to 0.5 scale at 5. And it's not because of you, it's because of everyone, because Tata Trust has put trust on us. The faculties, those who are here, they have put trust on us, and we put trust on ourselves. And first day, Ritesh has told, smell of the place. When you came inside and when you are going outside, you have changed. Every one of us has changed. And once again I am saying, and we are promising you that every one of us, wherever we will be, but will come as jewels. Thank you, sir.
The Transitional Leadership Program has been a journey that was exciting and thrilling as well, and had an intent to develop knowledge and expertise for self-transformation. A self-transformation which would have positive energy within and have the willingness to contribute to the fullest potential for the cause that we work for. What we learned from this Transitional Leadership Program has been that we need to chisel out the negativities within us and infuse positive energy within us. The journey has just begun, and we have inspirations from the top leaders of Tata Trust and the esteemed faculties of INMA, one of the prestigious institutes in India. So I would like to conclude here in saying one of the golden lines of Robert Frost in his famous poem, Stopping by the Woods. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
Just so you know, that's the time. They were promised 10 minutes, and it's 9 minutes 51 seconds, 51.59. So I think one thing this group has really learned is time management at IRMA because of the sheer faculty. So thank you on that behalf. Okay, that made me a little proud. I think speaking of hopefully someone who's as proud, if not more, we have Arun with us, who I'm going to invite to the podium now to say a few words. Arun, the mic's all yours. Arun really doesn't need an introduction, but I think something that Arun is able to do is the team really swears by you. So whatever you say and do, I think that's something that they will execute without a shadow of doubt. So thank you for being the leader who you are.
Thank you, Natalie. Also, let me thank IRMA, specifically Dr. Dash on the platform, Professor Venkatesh, Professor Vishwa. From our side, let me specifically welcome Mr. Agarwala for pulling out time and coming here. I presume he got up at an unearthly hour today in the morning and is coming, but he still looks totally fresh though. So we have to ask him how he manages that though. And rest of the senior management who was here on the podium, the zonal managers who are here, 3 of them, various regional managers and all the key, one full batch of area managers. Before I commence again, let me specifically again thank IRMA for organizing this training, and we do appreciate you pulling out time and the facilities you've provided and the time you've allotted to all the trainings out here. Thank you so much. I think this specific training which has been organized, and the question is why area managers? I think that's a very critical need for us, is because they are the people, each one of the team assembled out here. I would say on an average, they would be handling about minimum 20 people, minimum. Some would be handling even about 120 plus, and at all tiers. I would say on an average about 20,000 households they would be covering. Some would cover, I think, minimum 3 districts plus, you would also be there. So I think substantive amount of experience and leadership is out here. And in terms of, for us, especially on the operation side, which is one component of the work which the trust does, is the area managers are critical functionaries. You can have a very good regional manager, you can have an excellent zonal manager, but if you don't have a proper area manager, then you're always going to struggle. Below them you have the clusters, etc. But the area manager becomes, in a way, the first actually tier, you can say, when you get out of thematic specialization to go into a mixture of theme and mixture of management skills, and therefore ensure the projects deliver. Therefore, I think reaching out to this level, building their capacity is fundamental. I think this course hopefully will go a long way in achieving that. My request to all of you would be, is now try and convert what you have learned into what is possible at a field level or at an operating level. The challenge is always there. Don't feel shy or embarrassed in terms of implementing some things. There may be people who will, it's always better to put in your best to achieve. I remember my earlier job when I was many years ago in the World Bank. So we used to try, and our targets were set at 150% because we knew there were so many hurdles, we'd achieve 80%, but the target was set at 150. So the similar way, you are always going to have the challenges will always be there, but in terms of ensuring innovation, ensuring creativity, ensuring that you are able to achieve the results which you are trying to achieve. The effort has to come in from your side. Now you have a team structure below you. Try and innovate, try and take the learnings which you have got from this course and try and implement it, be it in project management, project planning, etc., monitoring. whatever function you have to specifically lead at that particular occasion. I think one of the critical points, two more points I'll say and then I'll hand over, is I would again emphasize on one of the basic principles which we have always stuck to is, and it's always been on quality. And on ensuring that there is quality projects which we are implementing. I would say many years ago, I think Koshari Saab is here from the Uttarakhand team, and this is an example which I quote. And I had those days Mr. R.K. Krishna Kumar was a director in Tata Sons and also a trustee. He had very little time, so I managed to get 10 minutes of his time in the morning and put some slides on. And one of them was a water tank providing water in a particular village. He saw it and he said, "Have we done that?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, it doesn't look proper." I said, "No, sir, the paint has peeled off." He said, "No, if we are doing things that should look proper." So, sure enough, thanks to Uttarakhand weather, there was a cloud burst about a month later. And that particular water supply scheme got washed down the mountain about 1,000 feet. And I luckily was there a few weeks later, and I went down there, took a photograph of the same water tank and brought it back and sent it to Mr. Krishna Kumar and said the point was, sir, the quality was there, that there was not a scratch on it. It had come down 1,000 feet and was useless, but we did no compromise on quality. So that my only request is, please don't compromise on quality, but do also do the painting so it should look proper. Second and other critical point which I always say is that, and so Agarwala is here and the others, that we should always ensure that if the Tata brand is associated with this, on these specific things which I just mentioned on quality, on ethics, etc., there should be no compromise. And again, I mentioned one example from Gujarat itself. Many years ago, we had got a grant which had come in, and Mr. Tata had gone to the US, and there was a collaboration going on with GE, and they gave us 6 crores of RO equipment, reverse osmosis plants. And it came and we put it down the Gujarat coastline. And we called it Tata GE Water Projects. And we put up boards. So I remember presenting it to the board, and Mr. Tata saw it, and he said, "Well, if you're going to put the Tata name, then it better work." I said, "Yes, sir, surely we'll do that." So that's it. So if you're going to take this forward, put the Tata brand on it, so you people, primarily responsibility is to make sure on these specific points which I've mentioned is low quality. You use your training, all the learnings you've had, and now try and implement it. And remember, I think this is an excellent initiative on behalf of the Trust HR team, and specifically Natalie on pulling out this time and doing all this here. And now for you, I think this effort is over. Now the onus is on you to try and implement as many learnings as you can. And as Dr. Dash mentioned, that if you need any assistance from the IRMA faculty, that's always going to be available. Thank you all and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Ms. Arun. It's an honor to have you with us, and I think the team will be and continue to be inspired by you. Don't you think, team? Yes. I can't hear you. Yes. Okay, on that note, guess where we're going?
If you are ready.
The if, or in case you are, is moving into a confirmation across for all of you. So, the team here doesn't really know up until this minute whether they were actually going to graduate, yes, no, maybe. So we had that hanging over their necks for the longest period of time, but I must confess that the patience actually, is something they can pat themselves on the back for. Okay. On that note, I'm going to invite somebody who's been a complete pillar with us across the journey, apart from the other faculty members, of course, at IRMA. Professor Pandey, would you like to join me on the podium, please? Super special occasion, and we're going to do this together. So, are you ready?
Yes!
Okay. For this, I'm going to invite
director for handing over the university for first 5 participants, and thereafter the director will be leading. So, yes, Professor Dash is a meeting with the ministry, and that's why we'll have to leave for that. And so, just the first few questions that the director will be offering, and thereafter he'll be leading. I would to start with, out of 29 participants for the program, 27 of them will be receiving the certificates in person, and 2 of them will be receiving it in absentia. I'll be calling out the names of the participants in order, and along with the director, I'll also request Shri Banmali Agrawala to be here for giving away the certificates. Director Professor Dash will be handing over the Angvastram, offering the Angvastram to the first 3 participants, names of whom I am going to be calling and requesting your presence on the dais very quickly. Subhashish Panda.
Let's pause a minute and send over our gratitude to the director for the beautiful learning journey that he's offered us at IRMA. So thank you, sir.
So next we have Harmandeep Singh. Kasi Srinivas.
Please make sure that you stand in the center for a nice photograph with the two.
Mahmula Khan. Rahul Davne.
Thank you, Mr. Banmali. Arun, may I request you to come forward to give away the next few certificates, please? Put your hands together for Prashant. Sierra Imsong. Shanawaz Alam. Baljinder Singh Kamboj. Kanwaljit Singh. Shishir Rangunga. You gotta still keep the energy, come on. Vijay Singh. We have our next stakeholder who is in absentia, Pankaj Pakwan. Can we give him a hand? Pankaj, if you're watching, Vijay will be handing your Anuvaktam and certificate to you. Congratulations. Pushpamra. Side road Cruz. And there we have Rita.
Thank you, Mr. Ajay. May I now invite Dr. Malvika Chauhan to give away the remaining certificates. Next up, we have Rajendra Singh Koshal.
Sorry, Kulveer Singh Lara is also in absentia, so we will send him over. Congratulations to you.
Kandarpo Kalita. have the last person here receiving the certificate in person, Prasanna Modar.
Thank you very much. May I invite Professor Mishra and Ritesh to give away the next two special prizes that we have. Yeah. So we've been through a lot of learning through our journey, but like Shishir just mentioned, ALPs were the hardest task. So we said we would look at giving them a little carrot per se for the beautiful experience that they've brought to the table. So we had the ALP1, of which we had a few of our team in the top. I'm going to announce the name, and off the name we have one top performer. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So here we go. So for ALP1, we had Girish. Give him a big hand. Sashi. Surashish. Shishir. And our topper, Dr. Rajendra Prashari. I please invite you to come in to pick up an Amazon voucher that you may choose to do what you want to. Thank you. I'm going to have you continue because we have ALP2 coming in. But before we get to the ALP2 results, which they don't have any idea, ALP1 they had an idea. So, they're all on pins. I'm just messing. Okay. Firstly, I think what we need to congratulate the team. Your journey from ALP1 to ALP2 has immense move. So the movement's been awesome, and this has been for majority of you. So may I invite you to give yourself a pat on the back. Again, we had a few who hit the top, and we have one top performer, so allow me to give them a hand. Girish, you're on that list again. Anurag. Shishir. Rafi. And stopped by Vijay. May I invite you to come forward? Thank you, and we have one more special prize. And this is looking at you with a very, very intricate lens across your entire journey. And we've kind of consolidated scores. By the way, you also get transcripts, just in case you're wondering. You get graded on your performance. Okay, and that grade is looked after by all of what you've done through the Campus Connects 1, 2, and 3. What you brought to the table in ALP1, what you brought to the table in ALP2. So looking at all of this and looking at the participation that you've had where the professors have kind of rated you, we have one overall performer. Yes. Kasi, would you like to come up? Mr. Bakari, may I ask you to give this award over to Kasi, please? Kasi gets a handsome Amazon voucher too. congratulations. But remember, everyone's a winner because where you started to where you are today, there's been a huge movement. And that's super amazing for each of you because you've thrown yourself into this. May I invite our to please have a seat.
Good morning. As Natalie said, each one of you, y'all are a winner today. The kind of hard work that has been put in and where we started and where we've reached, I must say that it's been a fantastic journey. So congratulations and wish you all the very best. But आज का जो ये सेरेमनी है जिसको हम कॉन्वोकेशन सेरेमनी कह रहे हैं, ये एक छोटा सा पड़ाव है. It's a pause. It's not a stop. As Arun also mentioned, it's a stop. It's not a stop. It's a pause for us to reflect and look back. But more importantly, and that's very important for us to know, to look ahead. Look ahead and see what we really want to be. All of you are going to be successful. That's the confidence that we have from the faculty of IRMA. That's the confidence that we have when we have spoken with you. But if you ask people who are over here, who have worked with you, our wish would be that you transcend success. Kashi ne bola na ki we became a good human being, and there's a reason why we emphasized on that. हम लोग अपने चारों तरफ देखेंगे, if we look around ourselves, there are many people who are very, very successful. The question we need to ask is, how many of them are great leaders? बहुत कम है. There are very few of them. The goal to achieve this great leadership when you are leading your team, when you are leading your, when you are becoming face of the trust, when you are becoming face of your team, it's a great responsibility. The goal of this greatness that can be achieved in many ways. बहुत सारे रास्ते हैं वहाँ पहुँचने के, but उसका जो starting point है, the starting point is the question that Kasi asked: Are you a good human being? Friends and colleagues, it's a great privilege that we have with us today Mr. Banmali Agrawal, a great leader and also a great human being. So, just to introduce, Mr. Agrawal is President, Infrastructure, Defense and Aerospace and Global Corporate Affairs at Tata Sons. Joined the group in October 2017, that's his second stint with us. In his earlier role, he was at GE, he was President and CEO South Asia, where he was responsible for the organization's operations in the entire South Asia region. Prior to that, he was Executive Director and a member of the Board of Tata Power. In his current responsibilities, Mr. Agrawal is chairman of companies like Tata Projects, Tata Housing Development Company, Tata Realty Infrastructure Limited, Air Asia Limited, and is on the board of Tata Power, Tata Advanced Systems Limited, Tata Electronics Private Limited, and Tata Medical and Diagnostics Limited. He also holds global corporate affairs at Tata Sons, including its international offices in ASEAN, MENA, North America, China, and the Public Affairs Office in Delhi. Sir, it's a privilege to have you here and invite you to address the graduating area managers here and share your experience and thoughts with them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ritesh. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. It's really a privilege and honor to be here. When Natalie first reached out and was checking on whether I could make it, I said yes within half a second. I didn't want to miss this, and I think Ritesh is witness, I'm not making it up. It is just so encouraging, it is just so inspiring, It is just a privilege for me to be here amongst all of you, and I'll explain why in a second. So thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to come and spend some time with you, because it's not often that people like me who are so busy trying to make money, get some time and an opportunity to spend some time with a cool mind and so on and so forth. But before I begin, of course, the esteemed faculty of IRMA, my colleagues from the Tata Trust, and of course all of you, hearty congratulations on the graduation. When I was preparing myself, after I had said yes and I got the program, I noticed that there's so much of ground that has been covered. I was just listening to all of you, just listening to all the other things that have been said, and I'm scratching my head as to what more can I add to all that you've already learned. I know well that all of you sitting over here are very experienced, have been on the field, you are extremely well qualified, many of you are masters, some of you are PhDs. Quite frankly, I feel very small as someone trying to give you a bit of gyan in a manner of speaking. But nevertheless, the way I thought I would approach this is to share some of my experience. I think I've got a few years of work experience, a little more than what you have, and maybe I'm going to use that to try and convey some of the thoughts and ideas, and basically have a discussion. And I'd love to really have any questions that you might have towards the end, because I think that is what will really make it meaningful for both of us. But let me just start by, I think, the point that Arun made, and let me start from there. And I noticed in the program that you started by first, what is Tata all about? What does it really mean? What's the essence of the name Tata? Be it Tata Trust, be it Tata Sons, whatever. What is the meaning of the term Tata? And I think I do recognize that amongst all of you, there are some members who are from Tata Trust, some from our ecosystem, and I would compliment the idea that we need to get into our umbrella all the people that work with us, so that that essence of Tata-ness really spreads wide and through. I'm sure you must have been through our history of the group. I'm sure you must have been through what all are the different pioneering things that the group has done. It doesn't come easy. It's been over more than 150 years. But what really is at the core of it all? And I would actually translate that into 2 or 3 things. First, I think for us at the Tata Group, how we do things has always been more important than what we do. The manner in which, and I think that's the reason why I spoke about Arun and the way he explained it. The manner in which we do things, the manner in which we treat people, most importantly, is much more important than what we do. Now, it's never a question of either or. You just can't be doing in a good manner without delivering on the what. However, if you look at the emphasis, that's the point that I'm trying to make. And I think when you come in terms of how, what is the one thing that really defines the how? If I were to capture it in just one word, be it what we do in the trust, be it what we do in Tata Sons, I would kind of just translate and boil that down to plain and simple decency. How do we conduct ourselves in a decent manner? Be it as an organization, be it as individuals, be it in all that we do in our day-to-day life. And I'm sure all of us in our core understand what decency means. This is something that our parents teach us, this is something that we learn at school, and I do hope this is something that we practice as we kind of work in the workplace as well. The other point is, when you talk about such a core thing as decency, then it's not something that you do from 9 to 5, and then when you finish work and you go back after 5, you're a different person. It's not a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of existence. It's not schizophrenia. It's not that you enter this environment at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is so completely different in terms of not just the physical attributes, but even the softer attributes, and when you go back, you're a different person completely. That's not the way, according to me, how someone who is a Tata person operates, functions, behaves. It's a way of life. It's what we do. It's the way, I think, if anywhere any one of us were to go and stand in front of someone, we should be able to be recognized by the person looking at us or talking to us. This person seems to be a Tata person, just by the manner in which he engages, he speaks, he makes decisions, and so on and so forth. Friends, I would really emphasize this, to me, is the most critical attribute and aspect which we should not miss. It's taken over 150 years, as I said, to build the credibility that we have. It doesn't take too long to lose that credibility. As we all know, while it is difficult to build credibility, it is even more difficult to maintain it, especially after you've built it over 150 years. Today, as Tata Sons, when I go and meet people, be it in government, be it in business associates or anywhere, the name Tata commands so much of respect that I think people just want to come and engage with us. Governments want to work with us simply because they know if they're working with Tatas, then we know we are working with the right-minded people. And the reason why I'm emphasizing this is because I think what you do has such a large part in making sure that our credibility, what we really stand for, is amply evident and is known to all the people. So I would like to thank you, and that's the reason why I was extremely keen to come over here and spend some time with you, because if nothing else, at least to express my gratitude for all that you do, because on the back of what you do is what we do from a business standpoint and try and run businesses as efficiently as we can. I think it's important for you to realize the contribution that you make. Maybe when you're going about your day-to-day things, you miss it. You're so deep engrossed in whatever that you're doing, maybe you miss it. But stand back, and when I look at what you do, I think it is simply tremendous. You add to that element of, as I said, of credibility and stature and dignity and decency, which is all that we're so very well known for. And thank you again, and keep that going wholeheartedly. The other dimension I would like to also kind of throw light on is that if we look at the world today, if we talk about running a business, it is almost impossible, and I would say even unfair, in the context of a country like India, to say that the only purpose that I have in running a business is to make money. It just doesn't work. It doesn't function that way. It is not acceptable. It perhaps was never acceptable, but in today's context, it is politically not acceptable, it is socially not acceptable. No one will accept that kind of statement. And that is, I think, where we come in. And even if you look at, and I'm sure you would have studied this, the way we are even structured from a legal standpoint in terms of the ownership of Tata Sons being with Tata Trust. Just imagine, and this was set up not today, that structure was set up 150 odd years ago. Just imagine the foresight of the people who structured it this way. To the best of my knowledge, there is no other business conglomerate of the size of our size who is structured in this way, where the structure itself ingrains the fact that whatever you are earning, essentially from the people, has to go back to the people. That's the structure. You cannot do anything else with it. There is no other organization in the world that has that. The only one that comes close to this is Bosch in Germany. But Bosch is a much relatively smaller organization than what we are, and therefore once again I would say that please don't undermine, underestimate what you contribute and what you do, because this is so integral to our very core and very existence. Now, I spoke about the fact that how we do things has been really very important, but that doesn't mean that what we do is not important. We can do things the way we want to do it only because of what we do. Without that, we will not be able to do things how we want to do it. all the good and all the things that we do all over the country. And in from that perspective, I just wanted to make a couple of quick points. First, I think it was said that you have now learned, you imbibed a lot of knowledge, you already are leaders, you are leading large sets of people, teams of people, as I heard, maybe even 100, 200 of them, some of you even larger, and I'm sure as you go further, things will even get broader and wider. But at the core, why is it that you want to be a leader? I think it was asked perhaps by Ritesh and somebody. Why is it that you want to do that? I think answering that question is extremely important. If the answer is, because it gets me more money, it gets me more material things, it gets me more power, it gets me more authority, it gets me more influence, those are valid reasons. I don't think there's anything maybe wrong. I don't want to get into that debate. But my point is that are we clear as to why is it that we want to be a leader? And if there is a larger purpose or a larger cause that is driving you towards this objective, then I think the way you will approach your work, etc., will also be slightly different. And I think I urge all the youngsters that I work with to sit back every now and then and think about why are you trying to be someone? What is it that you're trying to achieve? Let me narrate one of my own examples from my life. I spent a fair amount of time in Finland. Finland is a small country out in Scandinavia. I spent about 7 years over there, right in the beginning of my career. I started off over there as a very junior sales engineer working for a Finnish company. I used to go to work, the usual thing, I'm a sales engineer, I need to become a senior sales engineer, then I need to become an assistant manager, all of that. I had a Finnish colleague of mine, his name was Kari. It's a very Finnish name. His objective was to come to work, do his work, but he wanted to go home and spend time with his family to do. He did not want to become a senior sales engineer. He did not want to become an assistant manager. He did not want to go up, the quote-unquote rat race, if I may use that term, to make my point. I'm still in touch with him. We are still good friends. We've been in touch, every 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. He didn't become a manager or whatever. He continued to look after his family. He enjoyed life. And in Finland, you could do so. The disparities are much, much fewer. But the point I'm making is this. I think he was happier, or at least as happy as I am, in what he was doing, because he knew exactly what he wanted to achieve. And it's not important, I think, that you have to kind of climb up the ladder in a manner of speaking, just to achieve, quote unquote, that illusion of happiness or satisfaction or even success. And I think looking at you, reading what you have done, I think you are really, in many ways, fortunate that you get the opportunity to kind of do whatever that you're doing. And don't forget that, because it doesn't come easy. What is it that you have achieved? If I just see moving ahead, I'm sure you'll have even more responsibilities, you'll even be bigger leaders, and so on and so forth. Well, what are some of the things that I might just want to share with you? And you might choose to take some of them, but feel free. This is just me narrating and sharing with you some of my experiences. First, again, I think it's very important just to be yourself. You cannot be somebody else. You cannot try and emulate somebody. Each one of us are born with a certain set of characteristics and a certain temperament, a certain, traits of behavior and so on and so forth. We just need to be true to that rather than try and be somebody else. Because if you're true to that, that is when I think the best of us will come out. Recognizing, therefore, what really is my characteristic and trait is extremely important. It doesn't come easy, but I would really urge you to kind of take a look at that. Second point, I think these are now the times of having a lot of domain and depth. And therefore having depth in whatever you choose to do rather than breadth is extremely crucial. There was a time, if you go back about 20 years, where having breadth was the most important thing. You know, I mean, you all of a sudden became, started doing many things without really going deep into something. But I think those times, to my mind, have changed. It's very important to be known, an expert, a really knowledgeable person in at least some chosen area, where if that area there is an issue or there is some idea to be looked upon, it is you who are called upon as far as sharing your thoughts and ideas, etc. are concerned. And I take that a step further, that we've now gotten to a point where it would also mean that can I do the job that somebody maybe 1 or 2 levels below me is doing? So if he doesn't come to work, can I step into those shoes and start doing that job? If the answer is yes, then I think I understand that space, I understand that sector, and therefore, you know, I'm reasonably conversant with it. If the answer is no, then, you know, maybe I'm just sitting there giving yarn. I really can't contribute much in real and practical terms. So having depth before you get breadth, I would argue, is extremely crucial. The other is, of course, intellectual integrity. I think a lot was spoken about values and ethics, and I think those hygiene things are, of course, all there. But having integrity from an intellectual standpoint, and by that I mean, if you have a thought, if you have an idea, if you do not agree with something, please do speak up. You don't have to just go along with the tide just because that's the flavor in the room. That's the idea in the room, and therefore I have to be with it, or I have to be. That is something that defeats any progress, any movement. And therefore having intellectual integrity, particularly in what we do, I would argue is going to be extremely important. I'm sure you would have seen, and I was looking at your course as well, that getting out of your comfort zones that's when you learn the most. I think you have to actually go through it to believe it. It looks nice on paper, but I think unless and until you don't put yourself into areas, places, etc., which are not comfortable, you don't realize it. But the learning over there is the most. It may be as simple as working in places that you've never lived before, taking up jobs and assignments that you've never done before, working with people whom you don't maybe really understand. In whatever way you're making yourself uncomfortable, after that period, you will come out better. So the more you make yourself uncomfortable, I'm pretty sure that, you know, you will come out only better after that. Career planning, it's something I've heard so much. Many youngsters come and say, you know, how do I plan my career? What should I do to plan my career? Because at so-and-so age, I want to become X, Y, and Z. And my point is, there is nothing known as career planning. I think you just have to do well in your present task, do it to the best of your ability, and the rest of the things will follow. If one is not focused on the task on hand, but looking beyond as to, you know, what is going to happen with me next year and the year after that, etc., I think the plot is lost. And this is a mistake that many, many youngsters make today, and I think which clearly need to make sure that, you know, we avoid and just focus on the task on hand. I can go on with many of these, but I want to kind of make one important point before I kind of finish, which is, there's this professor at Harvard, she's a lady by the name of Frances Fry, and she's written a book called Uncommon Services. And she makes a point in that book where she says that if you have to be good at something, you have to be bad at something. And what that means is not necessarily bad, but if you're talking about relatively, if you're looking at excellence in one area, then by definition, the other areas are not as excellent as that one area. So to try and be excellent at 10 different things, you're not really super excellent in that one thing. It's a question of what you decide to focus on. It's a question of what you decide to spend your time and energy on. But I think when you talk about time, and whenever you would decide to focus on excellence, something else does give way. If you're even following your passion, say it's music or it's sport, you're devoting so much of time to it, I'm sure something else will give way. And that something else, more often than not, is the family. That your family usually is the one that pays the price for your excellence, your success, your growth, etc., etc. Do keep that in mind, because life passes by and you then realize, oh, I wish 10 years ago, I wish I could have spent more time with my family. I'll just narrate another small anecdote over here. I remember once there was this Israeli general who had come, and at that time my daughter was, I think, about 6 years old, and we were just talking, and she was just playing around, and she wanted me to lift her and hold her in my hands. And I was fussing around, and I said, go play, etc., etc. And this Israeli general, he said, Banmali, today she wants you to hold her, and you are saying no. Tomorrow, you will want to hold her, and you will not be able to. Right? Don't, for heaven's sake, ignore family in all that you do. That's precious, that's very important, and that's a very common and usual mistake that we make very often. We just take them for granted. We just believe they are there. They will always be there, no matter what I do, no matter what my hours, no matter whatever. I don't think we can take family for granted. We should not. As you maybe can realize, I'm speaking with a lot of experience of not having done the right thing. So that's why I said I'm sharing stuff which I will just share as my life's experiences. The last point I'll just make in this is that as you go higher and take on more responsibilities, the only thing that you would deal with is grey. You will not deal with black and white. All the black and white stuff, I'm sure, gets done by your teams and by the people below. And by that I mean, anywhere, wherever the answer is clear, where the decision is clear, the outcome is clear, doesn't need to come up for a point of view or a judgment. So the ability to be able to deal with grey is very important. And the higher one goes, that grey just becomes greyer and greyer. And to be able to deal with grey needs patience, needs experience. It's all about judgment. And that, again, as I said, comes through experience. And one of the most important things when you talk about grey, usually when you talk about grey and things bubble up, I think if I look at my day, 80% of my day, I think I'd be getting quote-unquote bad news. Okay, it means it's a bad shade of grey. There's a problem that has to be solved. Right? And at that point in time, showing fear to your team and to the people around is not acceptable. You cannot let fear overcome you at those points in time. I think you've got to go on. But I would just say that I think the cause, the path that you've embarked on is just so noble, it is just so relevant. I think you're well prepared, you've had this session. What a great combination of both the Tatas and IRMA coming together to get something like that done. I think it is simply outstanding. And I'm pretty sure that you will only go from strength to strength and take the name of Tatas to even greater heights. So I'd like to wish you all the best and just say, in the spirit of poems that I think have been that I think have been read, but if I may just say that may you always help others and give a hand. May you always listen and understand. May you always have a few tears. May happiness always, however, fill your ears. Wish you all the very best and God bless everyone. Thank you.
I think it's very evident, sir, that the Tata values and the inspired leader that you are came out so beautifully in that last couple of minutes that you had addressed to the group. So thank you. So this program was the beginning of many firsts, and it couldn't have been what it was without certain people and different parts of this jigsaw kind of fitting in together. So please give me the privilege of saying thank you to a few members on the team that made a really high impact. So I think first things first, Ganesh, Marika, without your support, we wouldn't have been able to achieve where we've done in terms of conception and curating this program. And they put us on to a lot of focus groups where some of you were part of those focus groups, and there are members in the team that were part of that focus group that contributed a lot of time to actually talk about it. So thank you to each of them for giving us that information to get this set of capabilities going. Big shout out to our leadership team. Across the 3 cohorts that we had, we've had all our leaders visit us, speak with us, tell us what they do in terms of either their team or in their area of expertise. So a big thank you there. And Arun, honestly, I think it is the team of the program implementation that's actually helped us put this whole thing really from conceptualization to practice. And our zonal managers, regional managers, a big thank you for being part of the entire system. I think the team here would definitely echo the fact that you've been our biggest strength and support across, right from actioning ALPs to executing ALPs to reviewing ALPs. So heavy task, and you've done yourself absolutely outstandingly well, so thank you on that. Big thank you to the EDs of the AOs, the SPOCs in different teams. A lot of our teams back in the Tata Trust ecosystem have had some role that they have played, so big thank you there. I think we have to definitely acknowledge the fact that the team at IRMA has been super family, and it's honestly been a fab experience across, and we look forward to a lot more association with the IRMA family. Faculty members present and faculty members who are at the field doing your reviews. I think what you help us is be better versions of ourselves by understanding these capabilities and also being able to, challenge us to apply those capabilities a lot better. So big thank you there. The team at Narayanpur, I think your simulation is unique, and we really had a complete blast in experiencing this. So we, thank the Shah and you at the team for giving us this experience. I think simulation helped us immensely. I think we've been most comfortable because of the MDP team and the ETDC team, coming together. You've made us feel like home, whether it was the bed that we slept on for a little period of time, or the fantastic food that we had, and the never say never attitude with the team that's up at the MDP. So Vivek, your team, thank you. A special thank you to Oliver. I think the most we've bugged you is you, so we continue to do so. Aniket and the housekeeping team, and big thank you. I think part of our journey was also a lot of experiential training. in terms of activity. So shout out to Bhaskar, his team, Pervin, and the Pervin staff. Also, I think Jombe gave us a perspective both at an individual as well as a peer level to help us understand where we are, and also what our bosses think of us. So I think stakeholder management came 360 degrees as far as that was concerned. Mr. Deepak, if you can convey that to him, Vivek, because I think the government session that we had day before yesterday was simply fabulous. And that's something we'll definitely take forward. You know, we've already spoken to him, so I think we'll pre-block calendars and take that through. A special thank you to a gentleman that's not here because he's doing a class, Professor Hitesh Bhatt. I think his reflection sessions gave us a mirror like no other. So, when you do watch this, big thank you, and you have our hearts. We couldn't have pulled off the ALPs without fantastic mentors across ALP 1 and ALP 2. Special mention to Madhavi ma'am, Sushanta, and of course Pandey. Thank you. I think this team has really gained from strength to strength. The whole structure thinking and critical thinking, if I can bring to the table, is actually come out with your guidance. So thank you for that. I think, you know, we talk and we say thank you so much to different people, but one set of people we don't really thank enough, and I'm going to do this on behalf of each of us sitting here, is a big thank you to the families. I don't think we can do what we do without their back-end support. So the entire set of families, thank you very much for being there. Thank you to our colleagues and our friends and our families who are watching. Shivans, thank you for setting up the webcast. I think this only helps us be closer. So the digital aid gives us that opportunity to just get closer. So thank you for getting that on board. And I think last but not the least, I have to put on the table that this couldn't have been possible without Srinath. I think right from the start, he literally, you know, he challenged us across to ensure that we put our best foot forward for this particular program. So big thank you there. And on that note, biggest thank you to each of you for bringing yourselves 100% to the team, for bringing yourself 100% to the program. And at the end of the day, always remember, you are unique. You are somebody who is able to touch so many lives. And your ability to touch so many lives is directly associated with how you walk the talk. So what you expect of your teams, make sure that you practice it too. Don't just preach it. Okay? I'm going to end up with, of course, a closing. So, team, this one's for you. I hope your dreams take you to corners of your smiles, to the highest of your highest hopes, to the windows of opportunity and the most special places that your heart will ever know. The team actually whispered to me a little earlier that they have a little surprise for us. So we're going to take a few minutes to work this. Anand, on behalf of the team at the Tata Trust, the team's picked up something for the team at IRMA. So I'm going to invite them to hand that over to you. But before that, would you like to hand it over now, Vishwambar? We've got a
wood carving is very popular in Ladakh, and it talks about 8 auspicious signs. So for everything good to happen, the sign auspiciousness is very important. So there are 8 different objects combined together, and I will not go deeper into what exactly it means, but for this is a very auspicious occasion for all of us, and then this symbol will, I hope this will stay with Irma, and I hope that Irma will find a space in their campus to display it. And then although we wanted to put Tata Trust logo to say our gratitude to the Tata Trust and also to Irma. Thank you all. And thank you.
And on that note, a big thank you for being such a participative audience. Before we close, the team's got something that they want to give back to you. So team, over to you. Always remember that we do what we do to ensure that that core customer of ours, which is our beneficiary, is what we do and who we do it for. So ensure that you enable your teams and yourselves to keep that as the core of why we do what we do. Okay? Is that cool? Yes. Are we good to go? Yes. Okay, on that note, you, cohort 1, 21-22 of the Transition Leadership Program, you have officially graduated. To celebrate this afternoon, we've got a lunch planned at the dining room. We'd like you to join us, of course. And before we move there, the team's wanting us to do a picture, which is traditional of Irma, at the chimes. So we have this opportunity to meet at the chimes, and then we move to the dining room. On that note, congratulations and thank you very much, and have a lovely afternoon.
One more. One more. Yes, yes.
Thank you so much.
You know, I wanted to do that when you were getting your certificate, but then I said I don't know if it's the right tone. Okay, now one, Natalie, come on. Hey, no Angavastram. One more, please. Don't mess with your Angavastram. It's very, very auspicious. Yeah. Nice. Good job. Can we